Hello again, video number 3 I believe. So today in this video I'm just going to talk you through my original diagnosis, I suppose, and what happened to me the day I found out that I had high pressure in my eye, and those first trips to the hospital and the medication involved around that. So this covers specifically a drug called Acetazolamide, but we'll get to that at the right time of the story. So hopefully you've watched the previous videos, and you'll know about the history with migraines and these stroke-like migraines that I'd had in the months leading up to my diagnosis. So anyway, I went for a regular eye check to get some new glasses because I felt my prescription needed changing. I hadn't had new glasses for a couple of years. So what you do, get down the opticians. Just a normal day. 10 o'clock in the morning. They do the normal checks that they always do, which is before you go into the optician, you have a pressure test, which is where they blow the air in your eye while you're looking at a balloon, and also the peripheral vision check with the test we all love with the clicky button and the flashing lights that make you feel like you're having a migraine. So yeah, did those, went in to see the optician. Before we actually even started to test my eyes, she said I needed to go straight to hospital. The pressure at that stage in my left eye, I think she said it was 38 on their pressure test. So I had to go straight to the local eye hospital, and I was in there pretty much all day. The pressure that they measured on their obviously better equipment was 45 in my left eye. My right eye, not a problem, fine. That was normal and still is to this day. So that's good news. But during my my time at the hospital, having had lots of, that was the first time I'd had all the, the test you see in the chair, and they put the drops in your eye and they push the lenses on your eye and they're looking bright lights and blue lights and dilating your pupils. That was my first experience of all that, which wasn't pleasant. You get used to it eventually, but yeah, that's my first experience of eye examinations, and yeah, it's it looks horrendous if you've never had one, and the first time you have it, it's weird. But actually, it doesn't hurt. It's just uncomfortable, and like I say, you get used to it the more you have, and they do always numb your eyes with drops and stuff, so it's not too bad. Anyway, whilst in hospital, they were then treating me with drops, putting like I kept having to go back and forth from the waiting room to the doctor's room, and each time they'd put some eye drops in, leave me 20 minutes, then put some more in, and then just check my pressure again, and then that sort of cycle went on for probably 2 or 3 hours. Eventually, I think they managed to get the pressure down to sort of 29, late 20s. That I was then sent home with a big bag of eye drops and some tablets. Some tablets called Acetazolamide, which I am going to talk to you about as well in more detail. But before I do, I'll finish the story. I had to go back every day for about 3 days, I think it was, to the eye hospital so they could check my pressures again and see if the drops were bringing it down. I think by the end of that, after 3 days, it was down to about 25, the pressure. And then I was basically just referred to see a specialist to see what happens next. And that was about a month, I think I had to wait for that. So anyway, went home. I'd been taking these, get back to the Acetazolamide story now, which is relevant and part of this early part of the story, because it was the first few days of diagnosis. 4 tablets I was given on the first day and told to take 4 tablets a day, so I had to take 4 tablets a day. The next morning I woke up after the first day and felt ill, just felt ill. I had pins and needles in my hands, pins and needles in my feet. This then spread throughout my body, where I had a tingling sensation for my whole body, my head, my chest. Over the next couple of days of taking the tablets, other symptoms I started to get was very dizzy, sick, nauseous, just lightheaded, loss of appetite. I started shaking, felt really anxious and really low, made my mood really like depressed and anxious and snappy. And throughout I'd say within a week of taking those tablets, I had lost probably a stone in weight. I just felt I was wasting away. But anyway, the third day I went back and I was taking these tablets, I knew that something was wrong. I was feeling, so I was telling them about this. And on day 3, they decided that I needed to come off the tablets. I was having a reaction to them. They can't take you off these tablets straight away. You have to wean off them. So I had to it took about 10 days, I think, to go from 4 tablets a day down to none. But I was still having all these symptoms and I was still feeling really ill. But they were assuring me that, we'll give it a week or two till it's out your system and you'll start to feel better. And I think I did feel a little bit better, as in it wasn't as intense. But for me, the knock-on effect of the acetazolamide and those symptoms, it changed me. It honestly changed me. My wife would tell you this as well. I think I suffered, probably for up to a year afterwards, I was still getting some of those symptoms and I was still being affected by the drug, I believe, or knock-on effects of it. Certainly with the anxiety and depression and just randomly feeling nauseous and headaches and just terrible. But I did eventually get better and started to put more weight on and stuff. I suppose what I just wanted to say is just be cautious of medications. I believe that my intolerance to acetazolamide is fairly rare, and I know that it works fine for some people, and some people are on it for quite a long time, and it really helps lower the eye pressure down. So please don't let my story put you off trying it or being advised the best route for you from your surgeons and your doctors. But I just wanted to share my experience with it, and that was that it's terrible. And although it's marked on all my medical reports now, don't give him acetazolamide because he's intolerant to it. I wouldn't go on it even if it was a case of saving the sight in my left eye or taking the drug. I wouldn't never take it again. It affected me that much, and it still has a knock-on effect even now, even like two and a half years later. I'm sure that it's had an effect on me. So that was my diagnosis story, really. I was diagnosed immediately with glaucoma because they did the checks at the hospital as well on nerve damage. The nerve was already thin at that stage. They don't know how long my pressure had been high for, but I suspect that the pressure was high, and that's why I'd had these other migraines, which is why I covered the migraines in the previous video. Because since the pressure has been relatively controlled, I haven't had any more of those stroke-like migraines after diagnosis, really, and after starting to get some treatment and trying to keep the pressure down to a reasonable level. So that was day 1 of my glaucoma story, really. The time of diagnosis, even when it's all happening, we've got to rush you to the hospital from the opticians. You at that stage, and even after the medication, and even after all the trips to the hospital backwards and forwards, you haven't really taken it in. You don't take glaucoma that seriously. You just think, it's just my eye, it's just my left eye. Just get on with it. What's the worst that can happen? And at that stage, you don't realise how much glaucoma will change your life over the coming months and weeks and years. So yeah, I wasn't scared at the time. It just seemed to me like, you know, like I'd cut my hand and I'd go into hospital to get it fixed. It was like that, but it doesn't turn out like that. But we'll cover that in the next one. Anyway, I've gone slightly over 10 minutes, so I'm going to cut it short now. That was video 3, my diagnosis, and next we'll start to go into treatment and what happened next and everything else, and we'll cover mental health and the world is my oyster. But thanks for watching this video anyway, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and go back and watch some of the older videos. Cheers, thanks a lot. Ta-ra.